This what the paper said.
All right.
Now let's give Jesus a round of applause. While they take pictures and they want to be on social media, take the pictures, take the pictures, take the pictures, take the pictures, take the pictures. Go over here, grab her out, grab her out. Now you're gonna grab her out, grab her out, grab her out, grab her out. Get upstairs, grab her.
A Brooklyn pastor who was recently robbed in the middle of giving his Sunday service in Brooklyn allegedly stole $90,000 in retirement savings from one of his own parishioners. Now, a lawsuit filed last year in Brooklyn Supreme Court alleges Lamor Whitehead, the bishop and leaders of tomorrow's international churches, is accused of convincing 56-year-old Pauline Anderson to invest nearly her entire life savings in one of his firms, with the promise that he could help her buy a home. Now, Anderson wrote Whitehead a $90,000 cashier's check in November 2020 and relied on him to give her $100 monthly allowance to pay for her living expenses. Now, I don't know who can live on $100 a month in New York, but shout out to sis. Now, Anderson wrote, now after months went by in early 2021 without any monthly payments or progress on the home purchase, Whitehead allegedly told Anderson that he was treating her investment as a donation to his then campaign for Brooklyn Borough President. Now, not only is he a pastor, but he wanted to run for politics. Obviously, he's in real estate also. He's over here purchasing and helping you purchase homes. Now, her son is the one who actually introduced her to the bishop in 2020. She was sick, and I guess he asked to come pray for her, and he got on a phone call with her and, prayed for her health. Now, in July 2020, Anderson reached out again about the desire to buy a home.
Let's take a look, y'all. Yeah. I just purchased half a block, right? And I want y'all to believe in the power of God. I ain't gonna be here long, but I want y'all to follow my Instagram page.
Now, she did that because she helped her son secure a home, and also she had bad credit. Now, when she got on the phone with him the second time, he got two home lenders on the phone, and they told her that it would be difficult for her to secure housing because she had bad credit. And that's when he stepped in and said that he would find and renovate a home for her. Now, the court papers say she expressed her reservations because she had no other income besides her savings. And that's when she said Whitehead offered to give her $100 a month. Now, as a pastor, you grew up in Brooklyn. You know nobody can live on $100 a month. Even if you're just staying in the house not doing nothing. Like, it's not possible. Now, it's stated that she has no receipt for the $90,000 cashier's check that she wrote to the bishop in November 2020, according to the court filing. Now, after the first monthly allowance was paid out in January 2021, Whitehead essentially disappeared and cited his campaign for Brooklyn Borough President as the reason that he was too busy. Now, he told Anderson that her money was tied up in investments and wasn't easy to access, according to text messages submitted as exhibits to the lawsuit. Now, his campaign finance records show Anderson made a $175 donation to Whitehead's campaign on January 10th, 2021. So not only are you scamming her, but she's still donating to you. Now, 5 months after that, on May 19, 2021, text messages submitted as evidence to the lawsuit alleged Whitehead told Anderson And for the record, anything that was given to me is a donation unless it's attached to a contract. I was making investments. That's what I do. So what you got here, you got a bishop who's also into real estate. He's also into businesses. He's into being flashy. He's into politics. He's trying to run for Brooklyn Borough president. The fact that he's so close with the mayor and has all these red flags is very telling. This guy reminds me of the character on The Shy, the politician, the black politician. I forgot his name, but he reminds me of that guy. Very shady character, right? He previously served 5 years in Sing Sing for fraud and grand larceny. So the fact that he has all these skeletons in his closet is not surprising at all. It seems like the chickens are coming home to roost. Looks like the bishop used his campaign for borough president to get donations, as well as passing around that collection plate. Now this got to be turned into a movie. This is a movie. This is definitely movie material. Now, fame and being in the spotlight is not a smart idea if you're scamming and robbing people in the name of the Lord or politics. Now, this nigga's brilliant. Now, somebody can even argue that the robbery is real and it's just get back for someone that is bitter for getting conned by the bishop. Get in the comment section, speak your piece on it. Until
pastor who made headlines when he was robbed of expensive jewelry during a live stream church service has been indicted on federal charges.
Among the allegations against Lamor Whitehead, that he scammed a parishioner out of $90,000. And as CBS 2's Christina Fan reports, this isn't his first time in trouble with the law.
A normally flashy Bishop Lamor Whitehead was silent outside federal court as his attorney denied all fraud allegations against him. The Brooklyn pastor, known for delivering sermons in designer suits and lavish jewels at Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries, is being accused by federal prosecutors of obtaining part of his wealth illegally.
Bishop Lamor Whitehead is not guilty of these charges. We are vigorously going to defend these accusations.
According to an unsealed indictment, Whitehead asked for money and other things of value from victims using threats and false promises. He allegedly convinced a parishioner to invest $90,000 of her retirement savings with him, but spent it all on himself. He is also accused of extorting a businessman of $5,000, then convincing the victim to lend him $500,000 more and give him a stake in real estate transactions in return for favors from the city government, which Whitehead knew he could not obtain. The bishop was arrested Monday morning and pleaded not guilty in court before he was released on a $500,000 bond.
Yo.
Whitehead has made news repeatedly this year. First in July, when masked robbers stole an estimated $1 million worth of jewelry from him during a live stream service.
You want to come preach? You want to come preach? You want to come preach? Come on up here.
Then in September, he was briefly detained after clashing with a woman who interrupted him mid-sermon.
We feel that he is being targeted and he is being turned from a victim into a villain.
The bishop has a criminal history and was convicted on 17 counts of fraud back in 2008. The 45-year-old is now charged with 2 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of extortion, and 1 count of making material false statements. In Lower Manhattan, Christina Fan, CBS 2 News.
If convicted on all counts, Whitehead faces up to 65 years.
What about my church? It's not about me. What about my church?
What about my church? What about my church? He wasn't worried about his church when he was out there ripping people off. He knew he did that shit, man. You know you did that shit. Ain't about your church now. What's up, YouTube? This is James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope you guys are doing well out there on this chilly Wednesday. I'm doing pretty good myself. I figured that we'd go back down memory lane of the tumultuous past of Bishop Lamor Whitehead. Okay. Wow, and I'm telling you, he has had a very tumultuous past. You understand what I'm saying? This dude has been involved in all kinds of things. But you know, it seemed like to me it was the robbery that kicked everything off. I know myself, I hadn't heard anything about Bishop Lamor Whitehead until that robbery. Then after that, you start getting all these other things start to just fall into place about him. Altercations, in church with women and stuff, him getting arrested, him, getting released. And now in this particular situation right here, well, looked like he finna do some time, I know he got Peg Bundy for the Peg Bundy looking lawyer and shit. She talking about he innocent, he ain't do all this and he ain't do all that. And he's the victim or target? Well, nah, I don't think so. I really don't. Now to get into this story, it says NYC's bling Bishop Lamor Whitehead hit with federal charges for fraud schemes. Okay? And I ain't lying, I believe it. I really do. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude, man, he was out there. He was out there. Now look, let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with being flashy. I'm going to just say that it's really not. But when you ripping people off to do it, that's where the problem comes in. Okay? Now to get into the story right here, it says bling Bishop Lamor Whitehead, the flashy Brooklyn pastor who was robbed at gunpoint during a church service earlier this year, was arrested by federal agents Monday for allegedly scamming a member of his congregation, among other charges. Whitehead, who preaches a prosperity gospel, drives a Rolls Royce and often wears pricey jewelry and Gucci suits, and which, may I add, some ugly ass suits. But let's continue. Was indicted on 2 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of extortion, and 1 count of making material false statements for lying to FBI. Well, at lying to the FBI, federal prosecutors said, if convicted, he faces a maximum of 65 years in prison. Damn, that is a lot of time. The feds allege Whitehead, 44, swindled one of his parishioners out of $90,000 of her retirement savings by promising to use the cash to buy her a home, and instead blowing it on luxury, goods, clothing, according to the indictment. In another alleged scheme, he extorted a businessman for $5,000 and asked the man to lend him $500,000. Damn, promising he could obtain favorable actions by the New York City government in exchange for the cash and an interest in real estate transactions and indictment states. Well, the indictment states. Now, if you notice up here, it said that he's a prosperity gospel preacher. Okay, looks like to me ain't nobody prospering but him, because his parishioners sure isn't. They are getting ripped off. You understand what I'm saying? Allegedly, that is. This is still all alleged, but I ain't lying. I believe to my soul that this dude is guilty. But now he's playing the innocent role. You know what I'm saying? He is. But hey, we finna see what it is now. Okay. To continue here, his campaign of fraud and deceit stops now. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said in a statement after Whitehead's arrest, if you are willing to attempt to obtain fraud funds through false promises or threats, the FBI will ensure that you are made to face the consequences for your actions in our court justice system. FBI Assistant Director Michael J. Driscoll added in a statement. Whitehead pleaded not guilty at his arraignment in Manhattan federal court and was released on a $500,000 bond. The preacher, who lives in New Jersey, will also have his travel restricted to the tri-state area as part of his bond package. Outside of court, Whitehead, wearing a white sweatshirt, cap, and camouflage pants, stood by his attorney, Don Florio, aka Peg Bundy looking, but anyway, who said her client denied the charges. Okay, of course he's gonna deny the charges, man. Who wouldn't? You know what I'm saying? You do all this kind of stuff right here. What you gonna say? Oh, I'm guilty. Yeah, right. Shit, he know he guilty, but he ain't finna tell y'all. Come on now. To continue, we are vigorously going to defend these accusations. We feel that he is being targeted and he is being turned from a victim into a villain, Florio said. This all stems out of a civil lawsuit that is being handled in civil court. He will be vindicated, she added. Floria appeared to be referring to a 2021 Brooklyn Supreme Court suit brought by parishioners Pauline Anderson, 56, who accused Whitehead of swindling her out of her life savings. Anderson says Whitehead convinced her to liquidate her life savings and pay him a $90,000 investment in November 2020 with the promise that he would buy and renovate a home for her. Instead, he used the funds for a down payment on a $4.4 million home for himself in Saddle River, New Jersey. The suit alleges. Okay. You know, the thing that gets me about this whole situation is how can these people be so gullible? That's what I don't understand. Isn't people like this slick, fast talking people, you know what I mean, come just take folks' money just like that, these gullible people, you know, got to be sharper on the draw than that. Just say hell no, you know. To continue, Whitehead made headlines earlier this year when 3 suspects burst into his church. Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries in Carnegie during a live stream service and robbed him at gunpoint of jewelry estimated to be worth up to $1 million. 2 men, Juwan Anderson and Saquon Pollock, both 23, were charged in Brooklyn federal court for the brazen July 23rd stick-up. Their trials are scheduled to begin early next year. Okay. The flamboyant pastor has had ties to Mayor Eric Adams since at least 2013 and also made headlines in May when he tried to negotiate the surrender of an accused subway shooter and claimed to have spoken with Hisner while the suspect was on the loose. Whitehead was convicted of identity theft charges brought by state prosecutors in 2006 for using the personal information of several people to buy cars and motorcycles. Yeah, see, there with this guy, look, where there's smoke, there is fire. All right, and that's just all there is to it. This guy right here, man, you know, he can forget it. You know, in conclusion here, though, it says he was sentenced up to 30 years in prison, but was released for good behavior in 2013. Whitehead, who faces a number of civil suits, launched an unsuccessful campaign for Brooklyn Borough President 2021. And one of his former campaign workers now claims he stiffed him out of $56,000. He called the campaign worker's suit frivolous. Naturally, he's going to say that, you know what I mean? Yeah, well, you know, this is what it is with your boy right here, Bishop Lamor Whitehead. You know, dude, man, has got a very, very shady, tumultuous history right here of ripping people off. You know, I want you guys to tell me what you think about the old dude right here. Do you think he's guilty, or is he just a victim or a villain that is, as his attorney says? Tell me in the comment section. I'd like to know. This is James, and people, please remember to live your life as though we're being watched, simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.